By the way, you're my first guest in the studio.
Boy.
Yeah, you're my first guest in the studio. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously you lot know, that this is a new space. You can tell. I had to part ways with my studio in South. Technical difficulties of the room. I might be back. I might not be. We're gonna have to wait and see. But love to the South every time. That's my house. They did everything I needed to do over there for me. But what do you lot think? I got the logo on the wall. Okay, we got the lights. We got a guest. We got everybody, okay? Oh my gosh. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Miriam. How have you guys been? It's been a while, obviously. The next few episodes you're going to be seeing is going to be a whole different setup. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please leave me comments, suggestions, anything. Do you like it? Do you not? What do you want to see? Who do you want to see? X, Y, and Z. We're back for good. I took a long break. I'm going to keep it real. I was gone for a while. But we're back now and it's time to make some money, y'all. It's really time to make the shmoney, the bag. It's time. But as you can see, I'm not sat here alone. I'm sat with one of my peoples, okay? Up and coming, or I hate saying up and coming, because realistically you're here.
Man's here.
You're here.
Man's here.
Guys, we got MICA in the building. Yes, round of applause.
Yes, thank you, everybody, thank you.
How you doing, baby?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Do you remember how we met?
Was it at an event?
It was at an event.
Which event was it?
It was at... Let me see if you can remember, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to help you.
Was it in East London?
Was the first? We met twice, by the way.
The first time we met, was it in East London?
No. It wasn't.
Okay, so it wasn't a networking event? Okay, I thought it was a creative link-up. Cool.
It was a creative link-up, but it wasn't a chill event.
You're going to have to hit me.
So we were at a influencer event at Soho House. Do you remember? It was at Soho House and there was a fashion show that had happened. It was like an underground.
How many? When?
Unless we've met more than twice.
How long ago was this?
That was a while ago. Not like super long ago, but like a good couple months ago.
And there was a fashion show?
Yeah.
I thought we met at a music show.
It was music as well.
Okay, I don't remember the fashion show.
What do you remember the music? What type of music, guys?
I remember music because I thought we met at a place where there was like artists on the lineup and that. I don't remember.
We met. That was the second time. So we met at Shoreditch.
Okay.
The second time.
So that was the East time.
Because my girl Trullery, shout out to Trullery
I know,
Banks.
yeah.
I know.
I know.
Did her album debut, which I believe has been out for a while now. So check it out, y'all. That's my girl. Go support her. Love every time. But I saw you across the room. Yeah, I was with my girl, and then my boy Reckless pulled up. And then you just come in. I saw you come and just sit down. And I remember, I was like, because I've known Reckless for time.
He's a G, man.
He's a G. I met Reckless in South. Imagine. And he used to live like 20 minutes away from me.
Mad.
Do you know how mad that is?
What's he doing over them sides?
Listen, that's between you like to discuss, okay? But I remember you lot were talking, and I'm looking over, and I'm like to my girl, I think I know him, but I can't. I can't point it. And then obviously we had our conversation and it all came back and da-da-da-da-da. But I want you to more or less, what I do with my guests is I let them take over. This is your platform as much as it is mine.
Okay.
Like, we can do the interviews, but I also really want for you to like push out the message that you have, any conversations you want to have. I'm open to all of that. Obviously, for those that don't know MICAHH, he's an artist, you're a AFRO-TRAP and all of that. Of course, I know!
She knows! I was waiting, I was thinking, she might say like, Afro swing aside. She knows.
Ciao. I know, okay. I do my little research.
Shout out to Miriam. You use your name on
Of course. Every
Shout out to
time.
Maria.
Every
You gotta
time.
listen.
Every time. And you even said it
Listen.
right, please.
Yes, please. The right way. The correct
right
way. Original.
It's the east side.
I could even put more emphasis on it.
the
Don't even
emphasis,
worry.
yeah. Catch me in this new song.
Yo, watch it. Listen, young feature.
Come on. But obviously, artists, we're talking music, we're talking industry, we're talking underground, we're talking all of that. You do a lot more than music.
100%.
I want you to really like put yourself out there. Today is the day. This is the place.
Listen,
to say what you
I'm
want to say.
I'm so excited to be here. Right now I'm in a chill state. I did a long cycle and everything, but like, I'm so excited to be here and I'm happy that we're having this conversation.
Yes.
And even just knowing that there's actually a platform where people are willing to have the conversations,
100.
like open dialogue. You know, let's touch on the things that everyone else doesn't really touch on, and also giving people the freedom to actually express themselves, because we are artists, we are
100%.
creators, we're entrepreneurs. Like,
Yes, sir.
you know, we had a little talk just beforehand, and it's like it's good to get it out. You know,
Yeah, fully.
because it's not all glitz and glamour, and it's not all, you know, social media, and it's not all like A to B. Sometimes this journey is really, really crazy, and I do think more people need to hear more about
100.
you know.
And just before, like, I ask you more like music-based questions, I want to just talk about that for a second, because people see somebody or see people that are on social media or that are publicly out there or have a little bit of success, whether it's through music or the industry, creatives on a general perspective, and think, I could do that, that's easy. Or that's not too hard, like you could do that in a year. Or you lot have no idea how much we have to break our backs every day. Like, you know... Sorry, I just had a flashback. Do you know, the PTSD is kicking in. There's what's that Thames lyric? Yeah, when she's like, she wakes up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I work? Do you know how many sleepless nights we have, guys? And on top of that, we still have to work regular jobs, so we can fund our
to even
try. They don't get it. So like, I've had so many people come to me with the whole like, you know, I want to do a pod, I want to be a director, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to model. And my answer for everything, any form of creative like bubble you want to jump into, is just because it looks easy, there's the glitz, obviously the perks are the perks that it comes with the industry, but it's not made for everybody. Like, not everyone just can come and just do that.
100%.
You need to really have the passion and the drive, but work like a dog. That's what my mom says. She's like, you come and you kill yourself and you work like a dog.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
100%. But that's why the love needs to be there, because if you ain't got the love for it, you'll never... Like, I can never do law. I think law is so interesting. Yeah. I would love to come and do up lawyer in suits. But what? Jeez. You see that hours they're doing?
Right.
You imagine if you just don't want the passion, you know, just in it for the bag.
That's crazy.
You wouldn't survive.
Because your passion for the bag would have to exceed so like
stupid levels.
And for some of us, we're not able to money doesn't compensate like our true feelings and our true dreams and what we want to achieve.
100%.
So we're not necessarily willing to just take a bag because it's a bag, you know.
100%. And you know what, like, coming from like backgrounds that we come from, whether it's like cultural, whether it's areas and poverties, and like obviously grow up in East London, X, Y, and Z, it's tough. And a lot of people that are in the hood have that money-driven mentality where they'll be like, I just want to make money. I just want to be rich. But the people that succeed, it's not about the bag for them.
Factual.
The bag is a big part. Don't ever get it twisted. But that's not the core of why they're doing what they're doing. And it's not like... I remember one time, I was in school. I'll never forget this day. And they were just going around like careers day, asking what you want to do, and da-da-da-da-da. And do you know how many people say, I just want to be rich. I just want to be rich. And I remember sitting there thinking, I don't know if I want to be rich, you know. I want to be good. I want to be comfy. Like, I want to be able to, like, go out and spend a certain amount and enjoy and not have to worry about paying bills that same month. Do you get it? But do I want to have more money than what I can handle? For it to just sit there?
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't get it. And I feel like, obviously, you're an artist, so maybe you see it more from a artist or industry perspective. But one thing that I've seen and learned, being in and out music industry, fashion, film, whatever, because I've been in the creative industry for a while, like a good, like, well, I'm 21 now. I started when I was like maybe 14, 15, like just delving into all of this sort of stuff.
Mad.
So it's been
Yeah.
a good like 6, 7 years or whatever it may be, yeah. And just because, guys, you see rappers in their music videos glamorizing, but that's not it. Like, there's agendas and there's narratives
Oh,
and
talk
there's
about
so
it.
much
Talk
that
about it.
that people put out there, yeah, purely to make money off the song.
She knows.
Purely to make money off the film, off the
Protect this
magazine,
woman.
off the protect this woman.
She knows.
Do you get it? But world of social media, people see that and they're thinking, oh, all these rappers are like this, they want da-da-da-da-da. Or, you know, all these models and all these films are pushing, like, this film industry, I can have slightly different opinions because I understand and I have my own, do you understand? But do you feel like, as an artist, there's a responsibility on your end, because you guys are technically the face of what you do,
100%.
to educate that, to just show people, yeah, you might see all of this in my music video or you might hear all of this in my lyrics or whatever it may be, but that's not the bread and butter.
100%.
That's not, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, people forget that to be publicly out there, it comes with a persona. It comes with something that isn't always true to who you are, but it's a part of the culture. It's a part of the creative outlook.
Naturally, for me, I think it's like you've summed it up already. But as artists,
I do that too much.
especially as rappers,
Yeah.
no, it's good though because it just allows me to just flow onto it, you know. But like as rappers, especially, like we have a duty of service, and I think people forget that like where the origins of rap started, like it was all about the message.
100%.
All about the message, you know.
100%.
And if that's where we're coming from, and we're coming from poverty, we're coming from pain, we're coming from, there's loads of different ways people can, you know, translate their pain and their message. But if we know the power of words and the power of songs, we know what it can do. I use this example all the time. I'm going to go straight back in, but if a snake charmer can play a flute or whatever instrument and control the behavior of a snake that everybody knows that if it bites you, it could be fatal, right?
Finish, yeah.
And his playing is controlling or influencing the behavior through frequency, right? So then us as humans, we now have not just the ability to feel through the frequency and whatnot, but then also the power of words, which we know. And, you know, as spiritual, as people of faith, like we know words are very powerful. You know what I'm saying? So we have a responsibility, and I feel like everybody in the industry or in our current generation in society is trying to like diminish the fact that we do have that duty to actually care about what we're saying. Because if you have 1 million fans, 1,000 fans, 100 fans, 10 fans, and they listen to you religiously, they take what you say for gospel.
100%.
So if you might say, oh, to me, I was just thinking of rhymes in my head and made up some stuff, but to someone else who maybe in their life, they're trying to emulate what you're doing or emulate what the perception of who you are. Of course you have a responsibility once you're aware that, okay, wait, hold on. What I say on songs influences people. Now that, you know, Timberlands, we all know that there's a racist background behind Timberlands. And we all know that also the music industry helped make Timberlands, the boots, be
what they are.
The biggest thing ever. And they're work boots. They're not fashion. It's not for nothing. They are work boots, construction boots. But the culture took that and made that something else. So when I think about songs and I think about just the fact that not even just what you say, even just what you wear, those mini superficial things. And then you think about the real important things, and I'm thinking, okay, so if every song I hear says, okay, we should go and jump in a pond, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, it sounds silly, but there's going to be a lot of people that's going to go and jump in a pond.
They're going to jump.
If Travis Scott says everyone go jump in a pond on Tuesday at 6 p.m, there's going to be people around the world at 6 p.m. that are ready to
I'm just bait, it's just posted.
Do you get it? Like, there's going to be people willing to do that. So it's and then just to tie it in with faith again, because I think it's very important, is, you know, like preachers, prophets, like anybody who speaks the word, they speak the word,
Yeah.
and it influences the
Spoken
people,
to,
and
yeah.
it resonates with the people.
Yeah.
And they have a gift, a power. Those people are chosen and anointed to be in that position,
100, yeah.
So I think when you get that blessing and we're coming from a certain place, without even getting into the nitty gritty of it, I do think we do have a responsibility to be like, okay, well, I'm coming from this place. There's so many things that I'm expected to do. There's stigmas, there's all of these things. And then I can now change my message and show my growth, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
I have no problem with talking your reality, but if there's no growth and it just becomes glorifying, then you are contributing to the problems.
How do you feel like you navigate as an artist in especially the industry in the UK? Like, how do you navigate that? Because I feel like, I grew up listening to a lot more jazz, blues, US hip hop, and then went into like, what did I even go into when I first started listening to UK? A lot more of like old school Kano, that type of sound. Do you understand? So like, between me and you, J. Cole over Kendrick. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I'm a J. Cole over Kendrick. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I'm a J. Cole over Kendrick. I'm not gonna lie. I said it. Hey, Brilla, don't be mad at me. But
I hear that. Listen, Kendrick, you're there though. You're there.
he's cold.
But
top.
It's just that little bit.
J. Cole just has that.
He just has it.
In technique and skill and all of that stuff, like in how impressive you can rap.
It's yeah.
I could say, yeah, I see why everyone goes Kendrick, but like in terms of just that feeling as well as reaching with the message.
Yeah, the message.
Cole got that for me every time.
The storytelling.
Yeah, man,
like,
every time.
He raps, I visualize.
Yeah.
I can relate it every single time. I could have never heard the tune in my life.
But they're both essential.
100%. I mean, Kendrick, your latest, I'm talking to you like you're even watching.
You gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Do you understand? But the latest album, honey, mwah, 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 obsessed. But like, as a sidebar to that, like, navigating through the UK scene, I feel like is very difficult. I've met plenty UK artists, whether they come from the rap scene, whether they come from the Afrobeat scene, trap, both, whatever. And there's very minimal artists that understand what you understand. And for you to be, breaking your own wave within your own scene, like, what is that like for you?
I think navigating the UK industry is very hard because obviously it's a treacherous. It's treacherous waters. Treacherous waters.
Word, I hear it.
Like,
talk about it.
Where to begin? Like, I am the Afro-TRAP Jonin, yeah. Like, I have to make that be known.
Yeah.
And for me, the interesting thing is like navigating here. It's a very subjective place, especially London. I'll start with London, innit, because that's the home city. This is where we're at. But London specifically is a very like monkey see, monkey do, and then everybody else follow.
100. And
for me, I've never really been that person. I've always been the person to stand out in some way or go left because everyone's going right.
Yeah.
Like, naturally.
So
when I came into this thing and I started more on a conscious vibe. So I started more on the Cole side.
Nice.
Which is people might not know because obviously if they go on SoundCloud and go further back, you'll see that I really was just like rapping about just real pain, real subject matters. And along that journey, I realized something in me because I realized that the people that are woke or the people that are looking for, a open dialogue or a conscious space or somebody who's not just talking the generic everyday stuff or ABC rhymes, those people get it. But then how do I reach the people? Because with my message and with what I'm trying to talk about and with the pain that I'm coming from, I'm trying to reach the people who are tapped into the superficial stuff or who are tapped into the facade and the things that don't really matter and don't really exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, then I found MHD, right?
Okay.
And that was my introduction to Afro-TRAP. Okay. But the instant that I heard it, it resonated with me because I was like, yo,
this is what you've been looking for, type.
This is me because now I can get my message out, the pain, the anger, everything. But I can also do what makes me happy, which is the vibe
Yeah.
and everything else. And plus, I'm African, so naturally, if I can combine these two, plus I'm rapping and I'm cold, like,
Per.
you know what I'm saying? And my first tune was a Baile Funk beat,
Yeah.
which is interesting because obviously now, 5 years later, everyone's just doing them left, right, and
Yeah,
center.
exactly, yeah.
And for me, it's like I said, so trying to navigate a scene where I created a space or created a lane or tried to establish a lane where there wasn't one.
Yeah.
And when I was running around pushing, saying, look, I do Afro-TRAP, I'm the only person in the UK that does this in English, all of this stuff. There was me and one other person called Jace. Yeah. And these labels, these A&Rs, they're looking at me telling me, yo, this is sick. But Afro-TRAP isn't here. Everyone listens to drill.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Pause.
Pause.
So already when we're talking about navigation, I'm
Right.
thinking, okay, from what I know of the industry, you know, like if we take like even the American module, usually when you're America, they have like, obviously it's bigger, blah, 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 all of the politics that people like to say, but forget that.
Yeah.
They have 100 different artists. They could be saying the same things,
Yeah.
but they all have their own style, own flow, whatever the case is, and they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
UK, when you find something different, usually it's people supposed to gravitate to that. That's why you have
Right.
A&Rs and stuff. They go out to look for
Right.
new talent and things that aren't already in their roster. So when I'm going to these labels or when they're watching me perform and they're like, oh yeah, this is sick, but then
Yeah.
you're telling me it's sick and all of this, but oh, there's no scene for it. There's no space for it. Or
Right.
there's no this for it. And I'm saying, but there really is. And then I'm trying to navigate an industry where everybody's either doing, at this point, everyone was doing Afro swing.
Yeah.
That whole period.
It's still lingering.
Yeah, I know, it's still there somewhere on GRM. It's just lingering there every day, uploads and that. But I could never really, for me, I can respect the people who do it at a high level.
Yeah.
But the people who just jump on the song and just do the ABC
I hear
nursery
you. Yeah,
rhyme
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
for me personally, I call it microwave music. Because, yeah, I call it microwave music because, like, that's what it is. Like, you're literally...
You see, my shades are over there.
Listen,
I can't even
I
grab
take my
them.
shades off, yeah?
Okay,
I
take
take
them
my
off.
shades off.
Take
I
them
call
off.
it microwave music. Do you get it? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm from a place where, and East London is known for rappers, like people that can really rap.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm from a place where grime originated. I'm from a place where all of these things really, really matter. And I'm from a generation where we really care about who can rap and who can't, and the techniques and the skills and your cadence and all of these things.
Yeah.
So when I'm hearing lullabies, to me, I can understand to a degree, but I'm like, okay, so we've gone from a place where we had the Kanos, the Scorchers, like we had people that can really bar, you know, like proper...
Double D, everybody. If I even speak.
Marvel.
Oh.
Yo.
Everybody.
Double S. Yeah? Yeah?
Do you know about them
Listen,
man there?
Soccer, all these cold artists, that we grew up on, and I know it was a time and place in it, and I know it's a long answer, but I just feel so passionate about it.
It's okay, it's okay.
But it's like, so when I'm rapping, and then I'm rapping real pain, I'm not making, and this is another thing, it's not just about nursery rhymes. People are just straight up lying.
See, this is my thing. I'm with that because I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to one of my boys the other day, and I was like, you know how long it's been since I've listened to like new music, like new releases, like whether America here and there, you know, whatever, but UK scene, and I've like, even though, you know, me and J. Cole, husband and wife, you understand, but I've always said UK over US when it comes to music. Like when it comes to real music, UK every single time. But the stuff that I've been hearing for the past 4 or 5 years, I don't know if I'm the only one that's going mad. Because I literally sat there and I'm like, I don't get what you get. Like, I don't understand what you like about that. Do you understand? Like, I'm talking UK scene
You
type
don't remember
music.
the psychology behind it, which is what you're talking about.
Which is crazy. And then you obviously go into the argument of a lot of people are rapping about crazy, crazy stuff, but you have never a day in your life stepped out
Day in a life.
in anything. So it's like people, and also I think, you know, as a consumer, I think artists don't realize how much that's important. Like, you know, if I find out certain things about a certain artist, or, you know, you're rapping and just chatting nonsense, like, that's gonna put me off your whole music, you know.
100.
It could be that you could have a banger, like a single that just blows for that year, and everybody's, I'm not listening to it.
But you're a genuine consumer, though.
I hear it.
Most of the majority of and this is another thing about navigating, it's like, how are you supposed to navigate when the majority of the people that say they're looking for real music or looking for new music, they aren't really.
Yeah.
They're looking for what everyone else's next favorite song is.
It's a trend.
And that's where we've now got to, which is hard for genuine artists, because I know so many talented artists that they call underground artists. And to me, these are more established artists than 80% of what I see on the big channels getting millions of views. Because if you're not already an established artist, I don't see nobody, and correct me in the comments, show me, I don't see no artist pushing the message of, I work a 9 to 5, or I'm grinding, I'm on universal credit, or I'm homeless, or, you know, like, I don't see people really, really normal people rapping about everything that usual normal people go through. And they're getting deals, and they're getting signed, and they're getting this. I don't see that. What I see is the perpetuation of an agenda, of a lifestyle that majority of people will never live and don't come from.
100.
Do you know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about navigating, how am I supposed to navigate? And we all know, there's been so many times where I've spoken to different people in the industry, out the industry, and they're like, but we know the industry's fake. And I'm like, that don't cut it.
Yeah. And also, I think, you know, people that come from the culture, I think when you're so consumed in the industry, we forget that, you know, the UK is only made up of like 12% of ethnic minorities. 12%. So realistically, as an artist that's trying to really reach out there, yeah, of course, we are your audience. Speak to us. We love to be spoken to, relate to us 100%. But 12%, that leaves you with what? 97 or 8, or I don't do maths, do you understand? But that's the rest of the UK. Right. That's the rest of your target audience. Those are the consumers that are going to be walking around like sheep, but they will be buying your stuff.
Exactly.
They will be listening to your stuff.
Exactly.
And if there is a way, it's difficult. And I understand it from an artist's perspective, because you're dealing with your side of the table, which is the industry, the artists, A&R's, management, whatever happens behind closed doors, production, everything. But then that's one hassle. And then you go into audiences and consumerism and your peoples versus everybody else. And you already being a minority and trying to push out a message, but then will it relate to other people? Probably not. But will they have the sense to recognize good music? Probably. And that could be enough. And that could be enough to push through that. But then I feel like also within the culture, we have this thing of, that's our people. Yeah. That's us. We want them for ourselves. And the moment they start broadening out to other groups, it kind of becomes an issue. You've changed, you're this, you're that. And, you know, I'm going to bring an example into the conversation, A lot of people have a lot to say about Stormzy. Personally, in terms, I could always say I prefer Stormzy's old music. And I understand what the culture's saying because I used to say a lot of those things. But if we're talking from, at the end of the day, my man's trying to make money. He's making a career. He's got a life. He's got family. He's got X, Y, and Z. And if that means he has to go a certain type of direction to better his livelihood, do your thing.
100%.
Do your thing. Because as long as he's true to himself in his message, what can I do?
Factual. And this is another point, navigating the industry. And I think it's deeper than just the industry, because obviously it's navigating the culture as well.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
It's hard because someone like Stormzy, I have so many, like, I've had this discussion different times, and it's interesting because it's like, majority of his money doesn't come from music, as we know, innit? Like, because he's got the books, he's got the festivals, he's got a lot of businesses now. Yeah. So as a businessman, and when you're in those type of circles, which most of the people saying are, you know, they haven't been in, and most never will. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, naturally, he can't rap about that. And this is why the chip thing was dangerous when he had the clash. You can't rap about certain things anymore, bro, because now you're not the Stormzy that we knew in the red tracksuit that was the big size 12 in your face. You can't do that no more. If
it's strategy now.
Exactly. You have to be planned. You have to execute. And I think that's why we see a big change in people's behaviors and stuff like that. Like for him, one of the best things would be, that's why he probably takes all these breaks off social media, because it's too much, innit? But also staying true to yourself is something that I think is very, very important. And I think integrity in this industry is missing.
100.
And one thing that I will not, I won't compromise on, people have seen it before, I will not compromise on my integrity. 100. And that's one thing that in this industry, unfortunately for men and women, especially women, more times you got to compromise on your integrity to get to certain levels. And that is an unspoken truth that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because how am I supposed to navigate? You're telling me, I used to, like, when I was homeless, and shout out to my girl at the time, because we used to, like, suffer to get to these places. Do you know what I'm saying? And all these networking events and panels and all this stuff they say you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Dead it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to me, trust me, unless it's a valid person or someone you genuinely have seen them, like, dead it. Because majority of them aren't going to give you gems. They're not going to give you what you're looking for. Those people know that you bought a ticket, they sold X amount of tickets, and they get a panel of people that they pay. And some of these people don't even care.
Yeah, it's about money, innit? It's a money
Most
thing.
of these panels that I went to, they didn't give me no gems. And some people might say, oh, you weren't listening. No, I was listening. We were listening.
Yeah.
But when you give people cop-out answers, oh yeah, just keep releasing music. Dead. Don't tell me that just keep releasing music. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
Okay. Educate the people.
You know what I'm saying? There's strategy to this thing. Like, you have to understand, before you're even releasing music, have you got your PRS sorted? Have you got all the licenses you need? Do you know about the marketing? Have you checked into SEO and how you can tap in with the Google ads? Have you tapped into, I don't know, how to get playlisted on radio stations?
Yeah.
Have you tapped into, submission forms? Have you gone on Submit Hub and tried to get feedback and send your music into labels and all of these things? And these information, some of the things I've just mentioned, some people watching wouldn't have even heard of.
I'm going to keep it real. As a hostess, half, maybe not half, but a good, like...
Maybe just a little couple of them.
A good couple of them, I said...
Do you get me?
Yeah, like, not even...
And this is me, and I've built up a certain amount of knowledge, but I still know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a very, very early student in the game.
But you know what? One thing that I've always said, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know nothing.
It's true.
And that's just what it's always going to be. You're going to keep learning, and you're going to realize, the more you know this, it's like you've taken one step, there's now 3 steps.
Yeah.
You take those 3 steps, now there's 7 steps. You take 7 steps, now there's 15. Like, you just got to keep, knowledge is really power.
100%.
But knowledge is very much chosen power. You can choose to use that power in a way that can work for you. Or you can just have the knowledge and keep it moving. Do you understand? But it's very important that educating the peoples and educating people that come from where we come from have this knowledge, because that's my whole basis of having this platform.
100%.
Is to educate and be educated. And I think that is a big, big, big missing piece. A lot of people from, our culture, our areas, or whatever it may be,
Missing information.
will go and they'll be successful, but they will never even lay out the blueprint.
And that's every time and time again. And that's the exact
Time
problem.
and time
So when you're
again.
going to these places and you're telling me, oh, it's a black panel and all of this stuff, and I've sat and I've watched this person from this label, this person from a magazine, this artist who's doing an A&R internship, like, and out of all of you, you've all collectively just given cop-out answers. But you actually know that there's real things behind the scenes that people need to know, even just about, like, getting shows. There's some people that will reach out to me, and they'll be like, bro, how can you get shows? Or how can I get a show? Or whatever the case is. I instantly put them in contact with anywhere that I've performed, the pages, etc. It's free. It doesn't take long. And even if you were a selfish person, it could benefit you in the long run. Not even selfish, but if you were thinking of self and how you could gain, it could still benefit you in the long run. Because that same person who might have got their first show through you, let's say they surpass you, you might be the person that they want to bring out for their show.
Word. Yeah.
And they'd be like, yo, you plugged me that time, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like, naturally, the reason why I find it so hard in this industry to accept people not helping each other and not supporting each other and not pushing each other or not even just sharing the gems is because it's my second nature.
Yeah.
Like instantly, the moment I get opportunities, I'm instantly thinking of how to bring other people. And there's been loads of people over my life who told me, no, don't do that, focus on yourself. And there's a balance. I know there's a balance in it, and I've learned that. Because people really, really haven't got you how you got them. And that's just, it's the circle of life, isn't it? But when you're looking at releasing music and you're looking at, okay, well, you've gone into these spaces and they're just telling you, just drop songs. And it's like, okay, but you know this person at this channel, you know this person at Link Up, you know this person at this channel, you know this person. So it's different. Or when it's a case of, you know, they want to charge this person 500, but then this person
800 or
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's got, and it's like, okay, there's inconsistencies there, or there's, you know, even just navigating funding to find bursaries and grants for independent artists, musicians, entrepreneurs. There's nobody sharing this information. You know, there's been people winning grants and all of this stuff, and that's cool. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
But for me, if you learn and you don't share the knowledge,
do you know what it is as well? It's about access. Everyone has said to me my whole life, network. I networked like I've never networked before. But you see these people that you network with, if they don't want to give you access, you just know somebody.
And how do you get the access?
You build a relationship.
How do you build the relationship when most of these people aren't?
Oh, but let me tell you, you see me, I will force it.
You get me?
I'm a person of force. Listen, if I look, a lot of people have asked me, I've only been doing my podcast for like just under 2 years now, maybe like a year and a half, 5 months into me doing my podcast, I ended up on half cast, which is, do you understand? And a lot of people have asked me, how did that happen? Now, before I even went live with my own podcast, I messaged Chucky. I messaged Specs. I messaged Per. Per didn't get back to me, but we blessed it out afterwards. I messaged everybody, Taser, everybody, Fresh, everybody that I knew, and I built relationships. Specs is somebody, and Chucky, do you know what? Specs and Chucky are two people in this industry that I will forever pay homage to for the rest of my career, because they took the time to get to know me outside of podding. They took the time to bring me into their studios, into their circles, into where they film, into their place of business, everything. They gave me real, genuine advice, but that wouldn't have come if I didn't approach them in a way that was genuine, that was not too clingy. It wasn't like, it wasn't very like, oh my God, I'll run a da. No. It was like, look, if you have the time, please, I would like some advice. If you don't, like, it's all good, X, Y, and Z. At the end of the day, you need to have a game plan. And failure isn't something that, or like non-responsive people not helping you isn't something that you should take personal, because that will make you crumble.
It's true.
It's not for the weak.
It's true.
Yeah.
I still take it personal. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah, no.
I'm taking it personal.
Let me tell you, you
Taking
can't.
it personal.
Look, I used to be that person, because everyone my whole life has said the exact same thing to me. They've said, Miriam, you help everybody else, but who's helping you?
Yeah.
And I said, me.
Yeah.
I will forever help myself. Why? Because I'm somebody that 101 doors can close on me. I'm banging down the next one.
Yeah.
Banging by force until
Still banging it down.
100%.
But I'm still coming back to get onto you. I'm coming back because I'll tell you why. You're a good person. But I'm the same to a certain degree, but I've had to start letting go of myself. And this is why I find it hard navigating again, because like when you genuinely like, yo, I was homeless, and if I had £2, I'd give a homeless person one. You understand? So for me, I started letting this, and it's in the black community very heavy. Oh, no one knows you anything. No one knows you anything. Everyone needs to shut up. Everyone needs to shut up, because that's dead. That's why we're still in the same place we are now. Because in other communities, they have their issues. But one thing I'll tell you is the communities that we look at and we're like, oh, but these men have this and they have this. Do you know why? Because his uncle's putting on his brother's son, and his brother's son is putting on the cousin, and the cousin is putting on the nephew over there. You understand? We don't want to do that. Yeah. So for me, it's like we owe each other a lot.
Especially if you look at like one prime example, that this is a community that is an ethnic minority that I will forever rate. Yeah. Two communities.
Shout out to Specs as well, because he's a genuine brother still.
My family there is the Turkish community and the Asian community. Like, them people there are in-house to a point where they make generational wealth.
Differently.
It's crazy. And I've always said to people, in-house, employ people you know, employ your family. Obviously, I am a believer of, business and personal can become techie, but be smart. It's your money, it's your livelihood. Be smart. You're not going to just chuck it away to one family member that you know is going to go and do X, Y, and Z of your money. No, you're going to be smart with it. You're going to give everybody a particular role. You might even give it to a cousin. You might give it to someone that's your cousin, but isn't really your cousin, but their family. And there's paperwork. Always have
Proper
paperwork. Make sure things are contracted and signed. That is my biggest thing. And that's something that, like, coming from an African first generation household, and I'm the oldest of three as a girl on top of that, like, we don't know about no contracts. We don't know about my dad has always said to me, I wish I could build a business my whole life. Like, back home, my mum used to make breads, my dad used to make bread. Things happened back home, they had to come here. Now they're starting from scratch and working not even on minimum wage.
100%.
Like, they don't get taught certain things that we don't realize we were missing. And, I ended up in a really white area. And I realized that these young white kids, their family are telling them everything they need to know,
100%.
from a young age.
100%.
And fair enough, we're disadvantaged in that fact because you can't blame our family for not knowing certain things.
100%.
But the moment you start clocking onto that, and you will see it as a young child, like in your early teens, mid-teens, whatever, Google it. Read a book, look into these things, ask people, ask questions, make your connections, because that is your edge.
Especially now.
It's your edge. We have access to everything. And I hate saying that because I know it's hard to filter through certain information, but we have the access. It's about how bad you want it.
Yeah, and how finding a way that you can personally digest it.
Exactly.
Because I'm not going to read a 1,000-page book. I'm not. But if it was broken down maybe into like episodes or some shit,
yeah,
like,
and that's why I'm a creative.
And that's why, because you have to find a way in it and a vice. But it's kind of hard because the reason why I just want to go back to saying like not taking it personally is because for me, when I went on Rap Game, I said beforehand exactly everything that would happen in terms of how people would react, people would move, etc., etc. But there was a certain degree that I didn't expect in it. And just a slight example, imagine being, your middle 20s and that, and someone messages you like, oh, do you remember me from nursery? But like, this is not your brethren, not a friend, not nothing like that. It's just someone...
that was in your class once upon a time.
And like, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Like, because you saw this, now you've...
Yeah.
And where do we go from here?
Yeah.
But that's like a very, very small, superficial, small thing. But it was like, when I got that DM, it really annoyed me because I'm looking and I'm like, okay, wait, so I'm the same Michael that I've always been. Now, all of these, I have 3,500 followers. At least 50% of them were active. Like engagement, DMs, all of this stuff, right? But before that, when I'm posting the music that got me onto this platform and onto this show and blah, 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 the engagement's not matching. So, or when I'm posting my stories, I'm having 600 people watch my story. But then when I post a normal story of my music, it's 90, 100, 150, 247.
Yeah.
So clearly people are what?
Yeah.
People are now trying to pay attention. People are making the effort to look at what's going on. People are trying to keep up. People are sending the story to each other. And this is what I mean about it's fake, because I was the same person. I was releasing the same music.
Yeah.
But you just saw me on a certain platform that you equate to something, or that you put in a position, or do you know what I'm saying? And that for me is why I take things personal, because the blue ticks in my DMs.
If we start speaking about the blue ticks...
Do you know what I'm saying? If you start talking about the blue ticks now, it's a problem. Because you want man to network. Man has networked. It's crazy.
His life away.
Man, literally. Yeah. Man has networked crazy. And to the point where I'm talking to you, you industry youths are the worst. Because I'll be talking to these industry youths, and some of them I'll be thinking, before I was thinking, yo, real brother, like this guy, like, you get me? Like, if I ever meet him, I know the powers, the energy, the da-da-da-da. And then I meet them.
So jokes. Do you know why I'm laughing? It's because I know exactly what you're talking about. It's mad. It's like, these people, that you're seeing are blue ticks, not all that glitters is gold. And again, personas. I know plenty of people that are one way on social media platforms, and then you see them in a real life, complete opposites. Or it's like you're not what you really put out there.
No.
Do you understand? And sometimes I think, okay, cool. Is that a naive thing for us as an audience, that we're taking this one little image or this 1 30-second clip as their whole personality? Maybe. And I think there is a part that influences that.
Definitely.
But also, you're the author of your book. And this is your platform, it's your profile. And yeah, you're limited in what you can put out there, but you put these things out there and
100%.
you push your own narrative out there. Take control of your narrative.
Actors leave their characters on stage.
Or
on screen.
on screen, yeah.
Like, that's what it is. And they go back to trying to be themselves. And, you know, some people play their role so well that you can't separate them in real life. You're like, oh my, like, I can't see you in any other series or any other, you know what I'm saying? Like Michael Ward, the next time we see him, we're going to be like, Jamie! Like, Jamie! Like, you know what I'm saying?
Jamie,
but
no.
it's crazy because I'm like, okay, so cool, once again. So that, how do you navigate? Because, okay, even for me and for you, because you want to interview somebody, you want to talk to somebody, you want to have this is called the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to have a conversation with somebody, you're not having a conversation with, unless you scheduled it, for example, I'll use someone neutral. Unless you scheduled it, you want to talk to Michael Dapper. You don't want a Big Shaq to pull up.
100%.
Unless you scheduled it.
Yeah.
You want to talk to Michael Dapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There might be references from Big Shaq or whatever, but that's the person you got.
100%.
And if you interview Big Shaq, you can't expect Michael Dapper to come out.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, as a rapper, as artists, we say everybody's real and blah, blah, blah. Have you noticed, half of the man that do all this rapping and all this stuff, they get on podcasts and interviews. Oh, yeah, it's mad still.
You know, I have, and this is not public information, I've had a couple interviews, that haven't gone out because of that, point blank. And it's so frustrating because I know these people in the real life. I know what you're like, but because it's a different setting where you have to literally open up and maybe not even have to be vulnerable, because we can guide the conversation in a way that you don't even have to be all of that, but you're on camera, it's for a long period of time, it's not a music video, it's not, and then the persona you put on is so, it's like a brick wall.
Yeah, it's real.
But you want to be on a platform where you can speak, but this is the energy you're giving off. It doesn't work. And to any, please, guys, to any rapper, to anybody, okay, that I ever have on, and it's not even just rappers, you know, it's just influencers in general, because
especially even the influencers. Some of them have no influence.
And that's the thing. But if you have agreed to be on a platform like this, whether it's a show or a podcast or whatever, please, please, please allow yourself to even open up and be comfortable. Because a lot of people like to say, you know, it's the host's job to do this and that and the other, which I agree. But if I'm trying to make my guest feel comfortable and you're just not taking it, there's only so much I can do before it becomes forceful or it becomes a bit moist or it becomes X, Y, and Z. And don't forget, just because I'm the host does not mean that I'm not a human being. I'm from East London, babe. I'm not out here trying to be moist for nobody. So it's like, you give and you take. Even if you give 10% and I give 10% and you take like 50 or whatever, like, even if it's unbalanced, ever so slowly as the conversation goes, you'll warm up, you'll be calm, you'll be fine, and you'll be grateful at the end of it. I promise you that.
And try to be yourself, because this is why, like, staying like authentic and integrity really matters, because if you're yourself, you won't have a problem. There still might be challenges occasionally here and there, and of course there's always going to adapt into a different setting. There's always going to be, you know, different, obviously. But at the same time, the more you are yourself on camera or in your role or in your field of work, when it then comes to those settings, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, I'm not the rapper that does the super drip and all of that. I just am me, and I rate myself like I'm so Kanye that it doesn't even make sense. Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
love
Because
that,
I
yeah.
could wear like you know what I'm saying? I could wear
hear you.
anything and I'll be feeling like I'm in designer.
Yeah,
Because
words.
I am the designer. That's how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it's me. Do you get it? But
said, I am the designer.
do you know what I mean?
I'm
But
with
it's
that.
like, so for when I come somewhere and I have to speak to somebody, what you see is what you get.
100.
And if you ask me a question, I have to give you the truth. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we have to speak about things that exceed just the men versus women, what's your body count,
Yeah.
irrelevant conversations that
Yeah.
lead to nothing.
Yeah.
But then we could actually spend time talking about real stuff or real issues, or even if we want to talk about those things, the actual deep rooted things of them, and then we can get to surface. But every time in this industry, it's like surface. You say, I've seen interviews where it's like, okay, this rapper talks about getting girls all the time. You ask them about girls, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
bro, I thought you was the
Yeah.
girls with the big bone.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that like a part of that is because I'm just really thinking
Cap.
about? I mean, cap is. Do you understand? That's just
inevitable.
people,
It's
yeah, and it's
inevitable.
inevitable. But I'm talking about like when you look at the industry and you're looking at the deals that these people are getting and the managements that they have and the labels that are taken on certain artists. If you look back not even 10 years ago, the type of artists that were getting deals and management had completely different characters. Do you understand?
Completely.
There was a lot more, dare I say, substance to these people. And I feel like over the past 10 years, because realistically, yeah, if we keep it baseline realism, for an artist to succeed, he needs to be under some form of label agreement, whatever, on a like baseline ignorant level. Obviously, there's things, and you can be an independent and blow and whatever.
Even if you're independent, the majority of the people you see that are independent doing big things they have a distribution deal somewhere. They have a silent partner. They have a ghost label. So
well, there you go. So, would it be okay to say that a lot of that blame, when it comes to fame, right, comes from these labels, comes from these managements, and comes from because they have picked certain talents that just have now rippled down to what we have now. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
100%.
Like, because now, like, the more we're having this conversation, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, cool. An individual's an individual. So we're not all bred the same. We're not all cut the same. A lot of people, there's people that are less able, and there's people that completely understand things differently, and the brain is different, and people's personalities and upbringings will affect how people take in information. Do you understand? So an individual versus a team, an organization, a company, a label is a very different dynamic, 100%. And the power dynamic in that and control is very different. I don't know. It's just take something off, because I'm like, okay, cool. It's all good and well, I think artists have to always take control of their own narrative, but how much of that can they take control of? Do you get it?
I think for the first part of what you're saying, I think it is down to the labels and the corporates, because obviously they have their own agendas that they want to push, and it's been that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one side of it. But then when you think about like labels and corporates as well, they also feed off of the current state.
I hear, right? Yeah.
Of like the consumer. So although they have a part to play in dampening and weakening and bringing that substance all the way down, at the same time, there had to be something within the people that allowed that to happen. For example, I love bringing this example up because still to this day, I think everyone knows it's just clear cut. Why didn't Lauryn Hill get the fame and the light that Cardi and Megan and all of them have? Why?
Lauryn Hill, guys, is my favorite female artist of all time.
She should be.
100%.
She should be.
And you know what? You said that and my spirit said.
Do you get it?
Because, that one, yeah. Well, I feel like it's quite an evident answer.
There we go. And then you could just say straight off the back of that, Little Sims is renowned around the world. Like everyone
Yeah.
around the world knows her.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
she's top tier, elite of elite. You get me? But why hasn't she got the fame that they have? Or the girls that are doing sex appeal as their main strength.
100.
Not that they can't rap, but as their main strength.
Right.
Why don't she get the fame and the attention that they get? And my point isn't to say that, oh, if you're a sex appeal based artist or whatever, go and do your thing if that's you.
Yeah,
if that's actually you, go and do that, innit?
Yeah.
But majority of people, it's not them.
Yeah.
It's conditioned by the labels, by the managers, by the consumer,
Right.
and then by the perception and the facade. Hence why there's a formula to how you can become
a type of artist.
With a
you know what I'm saying? Success.
With a certain type of success. Whereas there's a Little Sims who can out-rap most man.
Words.
And bar, make songs, do all of this, and she's finally got this success, which is amazing.
Yes.
But for me, once again, it's hard to see that and know that, okay, so she had to go through this whole journey when she's been the coldest, she's been like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all the artists in my lane are in similar places. I've got artists, it's not just me, and this is why it hurts me so much, because I'm like, wait, when everyone's looking for new music, and I look at the top 20 of the charts, it's a joke, because I know at least 20 artists easy that are better than all of these, man. And it's not on a subjective thing. I'm talking about men that have subject matter, people that can sing, songwrite, produce, mix, master, play instruments, all of this stuff.
Right.
But we have to do the circuit of underground shows and all of this stuff and stay at that place where it's, we have to sell tickets and all of this stuff. But the artists that are jumping on these GRMs and these link-ups, they don't know nothing about the underground scene.
Right.
They weren't going to showcases, open mics, doing none of that graft. They weren't doing none of that groundwork. Artist development's gone out the window. So why do we have A&Rs? Because they don't do artist development no more. They stopped that long time ago.
So, yeah, that's true. Do you believe in management as an artist?
100%.
Yeah?
Me personally, look, if you're watching this, I need a manager. But I need a manager that actually that knows more than me, knows what to do as a manager. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I do feel like as an artist, I do want to be able to just create. Yeah. I want to be able to just focus on creating. I want to understand certain parts of it, but I would like to respect my manager as my manager. Do you know what I'm saying? My photographer, let the photographer do the photographer because you trust the photographer. Yeah. I don't want to tell my engineer, unless it's something that I have an idea, like I don't want to tell my engineer how to engineer because he's the engineer.
I hear you.
You know, so I do think it's important to have a manager, but I also think it's important to have a relationship with your manager, not just, okay, well, my manager manages 5 of the biggest artists in the UK. Dead, because you're just on the shelf. Right. They don't care about you because you're not their priority. But if you have someone that genuinely, and it could be your brethren, if they're serious, you know what I'm saying? I've had managers in the past or people who've tried to be my manager. Oh, AFRO-TRAP, this is sick. I can do this, I can do that. Right. But they don't do it. Yeah. And it's not even just that they don't do it. Some of them couldn't do it, but the vision was there maybe, or the intention was there, which, you know, I love that and whatnot. But like when it comes to progression, there's only so much you can really do.
And you need to know what you're doing. Because it's all good and well, like having the love and having genuine support and attention. And it's appreciated 101 times over. But if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the consistency, if you're not having the same amount of work ethic as I have as a client or an artist or whatever it may be.
I can't be doing more than you.
You can't be doing more than them, but also other people around you that have no relationship to you can't be putting you onto certain things or even just doing more gestures than your team or your management. And I think that's a really big thing that a lot of young creatives, when they don't understand what it's like to have a team or have a manager or have like whatever else it may be, do you know what I mean? Somebody there to support you, but also make sure all of these things are getting done. Yeah. You get thrown into a limbo. And a lot of artists that I've met and known have had that be like one of their biggest obstacles within their career. Because anytime they'd land a manager, sometimes it would be a matter of intention, not being in the right place. But sometimes it would just be a matter of they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, 100.
And
it just seems like a good idea and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's like, I'll be a manager. But it's like, when you get to a certain level, so this is what I'm saying. Like, once I started, when I was on the circuit and I did like all this underground shows, and it was like, there was a point in like 2019 where it was like everywhere I went, pretty much people knew who I was.
Yeah.
But in terms of the underground scene and the shows and stuff, they're like, yeah, you're cold. Because I'm shutting down shows.
Words.
But then every time I'm performing and I'm doing this stuff, I'm like, wait. So like now, there's certain shows I won't do. And some people will say, oh, don't, that's big time. It's not about that. It's just because, once again, sorry, I have to digress, but it's like
okay.
navigating the industry. You have to learn that if you're so, especially in London, if you're so accessible, people can't ever see, especially in London, people have a complex with rating anyone anyway, because everyone has this thing on their thing in it. So
that
everyone,
little chip on their shoulder.
Do you get it? So already being accessible is already even more of a problem, because now people are like, well, you just perform at every open mic. So then why am I, do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, back in the day, performing at open mics could get you record deals, it could get you management, it could get you big opportunities. Now,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
You're going to get a few people come up to you, yeah, you're cold, this, that, Instagram, well, yeah, we need to link up. Oh, that's sick, you do this, I do that. And then they become ghost followers after that. Because, people don't really, there's a psychology to it. People don't really take it in until it's now, for example, like we were saying just about the blue ticks. The reason why I get onto blue ticks is because they're humans just like everyone else as well, yeah. But at the same time, with the blue ticks that's in our DMs, if they were to repost 5 of your posts,
oh, the power. The power you possess.
You know what I'm saying?
It's insane.
Like, and 1, it's for free. 2, it takes nothing away from them.
Words.
And 3, if you can DM me or you can respond to me or we can talk in person.
Yeah.
And you say you rock with what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. How do you not comment or like or engage? And you are a blue tick, so you know engagement's very important.
You know what?
But you don't engage.
100%. And just quickly to just insert myself, people like to say, real love and all of this support, as long as I show it to you in person, it's real. And
that one is the worst one.
And, to an extent, I understand what you're saying, because I feel like, if it's real love, you'll show me that in person.
100.
But everybody, nobody's dumb. This is what I want to get this out here, yeah? The UK people, just everybody, every single person, why do we act like we're stupid? We're not dumb. We all have built our accolades. We all have, somehow built a name for ourselves or are making our way to do our thing. You know that by having a certain amount of following or by having a certain amount of influence, by the way, to get a blue tick, it's not about your following. You can get a blue tick and be on 100 followers, 1,000 followers. It's not about, you don't have to hit 1K or 10K or whatever stupid numbers. So it's about accolades, right? For you to have accolades, that means you have reach. For you to have reach is how you get your blue tick. By you simply reposting, that will mean so much to people, and you don't understand how that could really change someone's position. Just from that, because you don't know who through you can see what they're doing and get into contact with them and potentially change their livelihood.
And that's why I say, do people sign a contract to not help people once they start making it or something? Because it seems that it's like everyone's on this, oh yeah. And then there's this whole thing of, oh, well, nobody helped me, nobody did this. And I'm like, especially in the black community, I'm just like, bro, you man are pissing me off. I'm sorry. But you man are just like, oh, you man do my hand nothing. You lot do my head in, because, bro, how are we supposed to get anywhere if everyone's saying, oh, well, no one helped me and I don't owe anybody anything? Yes, we do. We all owe each other love. We all owe each other a respect. We all owe each other support, all of these things. And until we get that ingrained into our heads, especially if the person is worth it, because there's some people out there who, to me personally, I'm not going to support you because you're not even serious about what you're doing. That's a different conversation. That's a different situation. But when you can see someone's genuinely trying, and then, for example, I've had shows where the ticket was £5.98. I've told you a month in advance. People are telling me I might have work.
But
when it's wireless, you can pay £150.
It's a joke.
For the 3-day ticket or however much it is, and you can make sure you miss work. You can make sure there is no work around then, even if it was 2 weeks' notice. Yeah. But I tell you a month in advance. You haven't even got your rota yet.
Do you know what? You haven't even got your don't fucking kill me. That one hit me so late. That one delayed. But do you know what, yeah? One thing I've realised, yeah, being first generation, I've realised that...
We're African, you know.
Let me get there because I'm about to get there.
Land.
Because this is something that my dad even told me, because he almost cussed me out after I said this to him, yeah? Victim mentality in the hood or in the ends, in the ghetto, whatever you want to call it, is so powerful. It's not dormant, it's alive. It's ready, it's set. Go home to your family, to your parents that came here from a whole other land that weren't born here. You know, my dad turned to me and said, I will never be a victim. I could be broke, homeless, on my knees. I will never be a victim.
Never have it.
But why, as first and second generation kids now, or whatever it may be, youth, whatever, we're walking around with this broke white man mentality, not even our people, broke, because our people, we come from a bloodline of workers. We work hard. Don't ever get it twisted. We're walking around with this victim, broke white man mentality, where it's like, because the first time I ever heard, this person didn't help me, so I'm not helping, it was from a white person. And now I'm hearing
100.
ethnic minorities say the same thing. And it's like, how do we get there? How do we get to a point where we've allowed so much disrespect to enter our communities and take us away from our core? Every ethnic minority that I've met, spoken to, I'm talking African, Caribbean, Asian, Mediterranean, wherever. Yeah, I'm talking strictly non-English people. Yeah.
The Edomites, bruv. Your research.
the blood research. But do you understand? And I have never in my life understood why we have that, because all of our parents, all of our family members, you talk about back home, you talk about history, heritage, everything that we come from, that we should be wearing of our chest, pride, powers, everything. But when we're in this London, now we're all victims. Never in my life have I ever been so disappointed in a culture, a community, ever.
Yeah, but London breeds that, and then it also breeds the fact that, remember, most people lose their identity when they're in London.
True.
You have actual Caribbeans on camera, people from the Caribbean on camera saying shit saying stuff like,
sorry,
I wasn't born there, my parents were born there, and you know.
Do you know what I hate?
Did you see that? And I'm like,
do you know what I hate? Where are your parents from? What do you mean, where are my parents from? You're asking me, where am I from? I hate that. Or when people are like, oh, I'm English, and you're clearly not English, but my parents are from X, Y, and Z. My love.
You're really not.
What? And it's like, where has this shame come from?
You know what I'm saying? But it's peak because it's so deep rooted. Because when I was in school, in primary school, and it's even important because, even within, like I said, within our diasporas and all of that, there's so much deep-rooted pain that was caused by the white man and the division and all of that. Because the African kids, all the African youths that I grew up with in school, in primary school, used to say they were Caribbean, Jamaican or
it
this
was
or
a
that.
thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's a real thing. So it's like...
when I was in primary school, I used to tell people that I was half white.
You know what I'm
because
saying?
Because I only put on, I only started covering and putting on my scarf when I went in secondary school. When I was in primary school, people used to think I was Greek because of my features and I have really curly hair and etc. People used to think I was Greek or one of those Cypriot countries. And I remember going through year 5 and 6 and telling all these white people that I'm half white because I wanted to blend in and feel comfortable. Because they just made me feel like I just was so out of anything because I had curly hair. Do you get it? And it's like, that stuff sticks with you.
100.
It really does. But then I also think, don't come for me, or you can come for me, I'm not really that fast. If that ripples, I know I cut you off, I'm so sorry, but if that continues as a domino effect into your older years, you have a really weak mentality when it comes to self. And that's problematic. And that's something that you should really look into as an individual. Because I remember going into secondary school and being like, F all of you, man. I'm putting my scarf on. I'm living my truest self at the age of 12 or whatever. And I lived my best life. I don't care about nobody. I don't care.
Running it. But that's just what I'm saying. It's the majority that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because the minority gets kept at a minority. But if the minority was the majority, the difference would definitely we wouldn't be living like this. Because you got to
I hear
remember,
you.
like I said, London breeds that place that
Yeah.
you have people that are from all over the place that don't resonate with back home, wherever their home may be, or haven't been there. Even me, I haven't been. Do you know what I'm saying? The stuff we have to chase, innit?
I was gonna
Especially when
say-
you're coming from the hood or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone can go back in December and shit like that. So
That's it, yeah.
obviously,
I was gonna say a lot of one thing that surprised me is how like in touch with who you are as a person and your culture and how much you identify with it. Especially, obviously, the cause of you never going, not going back home is personal life, real life stuff. But a lot of people that I've met that have never gone back home, the way they grow up and adopt the British lifestyle and mentality, or the Western lifestyle mentality, whatever you want to call it, is so far from where their roots lie. Which, fair enough, your own individual. I'm never gonna tell people you should be this way and we should be, you know, in touch with your family and your roots, and that's your own decision. But it's so far from what their identity actually is.
yeah.
And I've always found it so interesting. I've always found that like concept of, I will never say I'm English. Personally, I'll never say I'm English. I have a British passport. Don't get it twisted. But I'll never say I'm English.
Home office, don't come for her. Yeah.
For
Yeah, I understand.
hey, I'll bring the whole of Algeria there every day life.
They might be like, saw a video.
We saw a video.
Some checks.
But no,
But
you
no,
understand.
like for real, like I know, like for me, like if push comes to shove, like, and you can see the way the world is going, like, who is to say that one day they don't just revoke everyone's thing?
100
Burgundy, blue, whichever one you have.
Bro, Windwash.
Exactly. People are still getting sent back.
Still.
And they were promised. You know what I'm saying? There was an agreement. I'm sure there was some form of paperwork back then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
some form
all
of
this stuff.
document,
And there's still found ways to breach and all of this and loopholes. So
It's crazy.
it's like identity is something that's very heavy, because when you think about the cultures that make up this place, you get rid of the culture, you get rid of the identity, you get rid of the identity, you get rid of the culture. Because British, English, white people have no culture. They don't have a culture. Their culture is stealing people's cultures.
Well, there you go.
And that's what it's been since the beginning of time.
Right.
English white people don't actually, what is their culture? The pub. I'll give you guys that, the pub. But I'm sure if we do some research into the pub, it probably didn't come from you guys.
And it's same
it
like
probably
tea.
didn't. You know what I'm saying?
You understand?
Like even tea. Like everyone knows us for tea, but tea comes from Asia and them sides.
It comes
like,
from India.
You lot are violated. Like you lot
Crazy.
you lot stole man's swag, man's drip. You stole man's sauce. You stole man's flow. If this was rap, it'd be it's beef.
It's crazy.
Straight out plagiarism. Not even plagiarism. They just stole it.
You know the Queen, yeah. You know Lizzie. You know the big fuck off thing that she walks with, the staff with that big egg jaw. Where do you think that's from?
Probably Africa somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
What was that, the green one?
Not the
one?
emerald.
Okay.
There's she has like a massive diamond jewel, but it's in the shape of an egg, and she walks on it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I cannot remember if it was Mauritius or it's Egypt, but it's one of them places there. Either way, it's from the homeland.
What is the law that allows that?
What law?
What is the law
There
that
isn't.
legally allows all of these things that, and you see how they, and then they do, and that's what I'm saying about navigating and all of this stuff.
Yeah. Everything
They do
is
this stuff.
inside it.
It's just like every day I'm like,
institution.
help, because the more you see, the more you're just like, wait, nah, like there's no this.
It's crazy.
Like nothing makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
like
crazy.
if I didn't have, and like for me, this means personally, but if I didn't have faith, I genuinely don't know what I'd be doing. Only because
It's mad in these streets.
nothing in the physical makes sense.
It's mad. And do you know what? I was gonna actually bring that up as a point earlier, because I was like, I feel like faith, when you have genuine real faith, like sincerity within your faith, it's so grounding to a point where you deep the madness. You deep how mad this dunya is, yeah? See how mad this dunya is. You know, I'm a very reflective person. I will sit in my room, I'll sit in a balcony, I'll sit anywhere and just stare into the sky, and I'm deeping about everything.
Yeah.
small, simple life stuff. And I'm thinking, this world has gone so far, backwards, mads, confusion. It's crazy. And it's like, when I really deep it is when it starts infiltrating into our lands. And that's when I'm like, raw, no, like, this isn't just a West thing anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be. Don't ever get it twisted,
no,
because
it's
we
everywhere.
weren't built like this. But now, like, you see certain things and you hear about certain things, and I don't know if you like speak to family members back home, and I'm like, you lot are trying to be like the white man.
Yeah, 100.
And it's crazy. Like, even with the Chinese coming into Africa, you know, I went to Algeria the year before lockdown, or the summer of lockdown.
These, man, are different.
So they've been in Algeria for a while now, yeah. And
Listen, they're in the ouch. No way.
they've been in Algeria for a while, yeah. So I went to a supermarket with my cousin one time. I'll never forget this. And please, nobody get offended. This is purely my experience. We're walking.
Truth.
This is real life. This is real life. This is what I'm seeing. We're walking in, and obviously you see them around wherever, and it's a bit weird, but you get used to it. You know, they're here, innit? They're here. They've been there for a while. They're here now.
Can I just pause you real quick? Do
Yeah.
you not know how funny that is? Yeah, that you just said you've seen them here for a while, but they're here. You get it?
Yeah.
Whereas for us, man,
Yeah.
if we were to go over there,
Yeah.
no matter how long
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
over
yeah,
there,
yeah.
we're never just there. Go on.
We're never just there.
Continue.
Even here, we're never just here. Please. But yeah, whatever. They've been there, whatever. Cool. Seeing them is one thing. I had, I don't know why in my head it didn't process that it would be a capability for them to speak, like, the Algerian tribal language.
Yeah, it's crazy now. When you see them, it's crazy. It's like when I see them man with the yard accent.
My head was so spun. I remember standing there and I was like, I looked like I was fascinated. And they're just talking. And I'm not talking about they're talking Arabic. I'm not talking about they're talking French, because that's what it is now. They're talking the mother tongue, as in what my grandma speaks.
Yeah, the authentic.
And I was like, oh, I stopped in my space, in my tracks. And I remember talking to her. I was like, is this like, she was like, yeah, bro. She was like, they'll speak better than you. I said, don't you ever in your life?
Yeah,
Do you know what?
it's true.
I didn't know how to feel.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane. It was such a mad experience for me. And I was like, the world is changing. And it's scary the way the world is changing. And a lot of people don't have that deep-rooted foundation to keep them grounded.
We all need some
Integrity.
Miriam. Because we're letting these men run up in our countries, yeah, and do the Mazaline. And I will say it, yeah, because you know what it is, yeah? The facts are the facts, bro. And at the end of the day, there's villages where they've made Chinese people chiefs in Nigeria. Chiefs.
No
How
way.
are you chief of a village in Nigeria?
I don't know you're from there.
Get out of there, bro. How is this possible?
Oh my gosh.
When even as an English-speaking black person or English-speaking Nigerian, you couldn't go and be in China and try to run for president or run for any of their their important roles or any political, whatever you want to call it. It won't happen. Because their thing is a dictatorship, not a democracy.
Yeah. Well,
so how can they, like, when Dave says the Chinese want to take away Nigeria, listen, most of my people suffer in stress. Listen, I'm telling you, they're opening mad businesses over there. They're controlling mad profits, mad income. The same what they're probably doing in Algeria.
Listen,
and that's mad that they're doing it over there.
They've
got it in Ghana. They've got all of the resources. What?
They've taken, like, you know, you fly into for people that don't know, yeah, Algeria is the biggest country in Africa. We cover most of the lands on that continent. So America's been in the country for a while. America, the UK, they've all been digging up diamonds and oils and stuff in the south of Algeria, yeah. But
from us, man,
now it's like, it's so in your face. It's so nonchalant. And what are we doing? And you know what irks me, yeah, is that let's keep it real as Africans, yeah. Let's keep it real. Most of our governments are sellouts.
Completely.
Most of our governments are on real
The
mafia
integrity is
crud.
missing.
And there's no integrity.
Integrity is missing.
There's no integrity. Like, I don't know how it would work in Nigeria, but in Algeria, it's very simple. Algeria is in a chokehold from France and America. Their thing is this: you give us X amount of access, or you give us X amount of ruling, but you lay down these laws so that they'll cap a population, a certain amount of the population from gaining any form of wealth, and the way they'll do that is they'll up all the prices for food and agriculture and stuff like that. And whilst they do that, they bring up the cost of living and they bring down paychecks. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see. And in exchange for what? For a little yard in Paris.
Imagine.
A little yard in America.
Always trying to be the what's the footstool, fam. Like, we're always happy to be the footstool. Like, oh yeah, look.
Yeah.
They gave one of us a medal.
Yeah, it's some... But listen, no, I'm vexed now. You started something in me. I'm actually so vexed. I'm so vexed.
And we're suffering, you know.
We're
like, people are
suffering.
like, and it's mad because where we're from and our lands, it's not poor. It's not... It's like,
oh my God,
how-
if I speak, if
you
my
know,
dad was here.
how much have they been able to drain over the last however many years? That's how rich it is.
It's crazy.
And they're
And they're
been
still
able to-
draining.
And now it's draining. Plus, it's like, okay, you know what? We're gonna take from you, but we're gonna like bring on like 5 of you, man. That will make you lot feel better. And then you see it all the time in the industry. You see, okay, big corporate people want to talk about this and they're doing that, but then okay, yeah, the VP might be white and the exec might be white and all of this stuff. And you talk about that, but then when you trickle down and you get to the foot soldiers, and they're people from our culture, our communities, that look like. What's the saying? Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, bro, how can you tell me? And you see, I watch a lot of interviews. You know what I'm saying? And you see these artists where it's like, okay, a rapper signed to a rapper, for example, and they always advise against it, like don't sign to another artist as an artist, yeah. But then let's say you're an artist and you go and put someone in a bad deal. And shout out to Kanye, I love you, yeah. But you know, the ins and outs of the deal, I don't know. But Tiana Taylor, she was under Good Music, right?
Yes.
And she should be like
I
superstar
love Tiana
on the
her
music
heart.
thing. Everything
When
else,
she
she's
quit,
great.
yeah. But when she quit,
You know that's a deeper thing inside.
I wanted to cry.
You know it's a deeper thing inside.
You're an amazing director. Don't get it twisted.
Amazing.
But are you stupid?
Right. But you know there was something inside.
And I get it.
After how many years?
I know, and I get it though. I'm sat there like, you know what?
It's the same with Chance.
Yeah.
He was doing sick when it was coloring book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got signed and it kind of went a bit more quiet for him because you're under somebody who, and obviously Kanye is a genius, but if you're under someone like that, bro, you need to take yourself out and do your own thing because obviously someone like that, bro, is so far like gone on that side, like to do their own thing that, how are they going to do your thing, bro?
Yeah.
How? So you need to recognize that, and sometimes this is what I'm saying. You need to walk in your own light.
100.
Because if you're 2 lights and one is shining a bit brighter or one is determined to be a bit more, then you're gonna get overshadowed unless you learn to glow yourself, or unless you dim your light for a bit to then come back with a bang.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm just looking at this stuff and I'm looking at the way everything that I'm looking at and the way it ties in. I'm like, okay, look. When it comes to politics, we know that the people that we think are in charge aren't in charge.
Words.
You know what I'm
They're
saying?
all puppeted.
When it comes to labels, it's similar. But even with the music industry, like, okay, politicians, they get bribed, they get influence, they get threats, they get all of this stuff, right? Which can influence their decisions. And some of them are also just downright greedy.
Yeah.
You know, like what I was saying, imagine the uproar in Nigeria. It spins me every time I think about it, that they can, the government just turn off the electricity.
What? Electricity and water.
Like, what?
It's stupid.
Like, you man could just, there's a switch or something somewhere, they can just...
The whole city. It's exactly the same in Nigeria.
And I said, imagine they tried to do that here in London.
It can never happen.
Can you imagine?
It can never happen.
I was saying to my mom, I wish... And then I was like, see how entitled I am? Because I'm like, I know they could never
They
try
could
that.
never.
Because if they tried that here, the
never.
uproar.
You know, in Algeria, what they'll do is, say it's like 2 p.m., they'll put it on the news for at 5 p.m., there's going to be no water for 3 days. Bearing in mind, Algeria can go up to 48 degrees,
No
depending.
water.
No water for 3 days. People have 2 hours to fill up their big, big basins that we have in every corner of the house to try and survive on water for 3 days. And then electricity, if it goes out without warning, you
That
just
is
don't even know when it's going out,
madness.
and it will go out for a couple hours and come back
In
on
a
a
country
random
that's
one.
full of resources, more than
crazy.
and let's not even get into the fact that, like, to me personally, I'm at the stage in life where I personally think like they done discovered, or they do have the formula for what free energy is.
100%, I agree.
So even just that alone is just mad to me, because
Yeah.
money doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist.
And it's devaluing anyways
right?
at this point.
Like, it literally could just like
Vanish and mean nothing.
and
Yeah.
it's happening as it is, as we're moving.
Yeah.
Digital shows how money doesn't exist, because if there was really somewhere that held all the money in the world, for example, what would be the use, and what would happen when
Yeah.
we move to all Bitcoin and all the digital,
Yeah,
all
or like
that
a
stuff?
one currency
Or
world.
we're just going to
or-
change it into what? What would be the use? So
Yeah.
it doesn't exist, right? It has no actual value. There's no money in the banks. When we go into the bank and we're like, oh, I'm going to get money from the bank. There's no money in the bank.
Words.
There's no actual money in the bank.
Words,
So
yeah.
you know, films propagate that with their heists and all of that. Like,
Yeah.
there's no money in the bank.
There's no
yeah?
money anywhere.
So then you look at politics, and these people aren't who they say they are. They have, there's shadow governments. There's all kinds of powers at play, and it's like,
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back, and we're gonna talk about a lot more, a lot more of this stuff, because shadow governments. Yeah. Oh my god, I don't know if I can even say it on camera, but I have so much to say. It's
I don't care if you're listening.
I
I don't care.
No, of course they're listening. They've been done
IP
listening.
address on fleek.
Oh, crazy. So don't even look my direction, child. I'm African and Muslim. Oh, I'm gone. I'm gone.
tick, yeah.
You fit? I know a woman. Oh, please, stop it. Ciao. Yo, I want to talk about your music real quick.
Man.
Chat to me, what's going on? You got anything coming up? Any shows?
Music.
Yes.
Right now, so the music thing for me, I'm in a good space because I feel like I've been through the brute of like caring much about the isms and schisms of the industry, innit?
Right, yeah.
Because they are the isms and schisms. And
Yeah.
it's about, like, we're talking about learning to navigate. So the actual music side, I'm going to drop
Okay.
20 more tracks before the end of the year.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, 20 more tracks.
We ready?
Because right now I just want to get everything out, and I want to get how I feel out. I want to get, I hate recording. This is why I know also it's good for me to be independent. It's because I could not deal with recording a song in January and not dropping it until May.
I hear you. You and me in January.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
That's jarring to me.
Yeah,
Like, where
I
I
hear
was in January is where I was in January.
100, yeah. You might not be anywhere near that in May.
I'm an artist, man, and because I don't make up my stuff, it's genuinely what I've lived, what I'm going through. It's real stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe where I'm in May, I don't want to necessarily be recovering January's feelings.
Words, yeah.
So I got 20 more tracks to drop this year.
Cool.
I'm gonna do the first AFRO-TRAP EP, which I've been saying every year since I started doing AFRO-TRAP, which is like 5-6 years now.
Okay.
But
nice.
the reason why I never did it was because I couldn't find a UK producer to produce the type of beats I was looking for, because there was nobody who made those beats back then. Everyone was like, oh,
I hear you.
I hear that, but you know what I'm saying? But now I found a guy called Cairo Sean. He's a young G. Shout out to him. He's cold.
Nice.
So looking to do that with him, and a couple other beats from a couple other places, because most of my producers that I work with are in Europe, foreign.
Sick,
Yeah. No more performances for me for now, because unless it's a paid performance, I'm not trying to do it.
100.
Because I'm in a position where at the end of the day, my art is my livelihood.
Yeah.
Words. And at the end of the day, we know streaming, like even with the podcast and everything, like it's very important that people go and they do these things. You go and you stream.
Yeah.
You go and you repost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You do the subscriptions, you do these things, because you don't know how much that goes for a person.
100.
You know what I'm saying? So my main thing right now is to get the music out, have fun.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it starts to become more of a, okay, well, now I need to write a hit.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
you
like,
don't need that.
That's not why I started music. That's not how I got into this. I was depressed. I was in a place where I needed to get the message out. And I know that through talking and through being able to resonate with people, I can reach people and I can really, really, really touch them. You know what I'm saying? However, it needs to be like however I intend it usually is how they receive it
Yeah.
in terms of emotion or in terms of message or whatever the case is. So getting the music out, I need to do a lot more music videos because I think as artists we need to take accountability in this day and age. If you're not visual, you're missing out, and you're it's a disservice to yourself because people
100%.
you gotta be visual. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be seen. You've got to be in places. You've got to. That's how you stay in people's heads, and people. Also, the visual experience is a separate experience that I think people can appreciate.
Yeah.
So I think for my music as well, being Afro-Trap or always being something that's moving or have a message to it, it needs to go with a visual so that it's got the double effect rather than just the audio, which if it falls on your ears, it falls on your ears. But then I think a visual is easier for most people to take in as well. So working on getting a few videos done. Obviously, I want to do a lot more conversations, podcasts, and stuff like that.
Always
but
welcome.
I'm trying to focus more on my modeling now as well.
Sick,
because
lovely.
I've realized that I was always more than my music, but I let me being an artist become the matter and the center of my being.
Okay.
Because I knew how quickly like life could change. And when you're coming from a position of being homeless and stuff like that, my main thing was to change everything on a 360.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On a mad scope.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's just make music, enjoy the music, push the modeling because I need to be modeling. And like realistically, you know what I'm saying? And I need to also be in spaces where I'm able to talk.
Yeah, sick.
Because that for me, I think is way better than just releasing music. Because if you're an artist right now and you're young, use the apps, use TikTok, use these things, but understand that algorithm is a scam. Like there's ways that it works and there's ways that it don't, but there's no specific set way. Like there's so much content, there's so much things, there's checklists and tick boxes, but just keep creating, stay, like have your integrity. Don't watch people say don't watch other people, but I would say don't watch them to the point where it's affecting you and hurting you, but be aware of what's going on around you and in your spaces. Like you have to know what's going on in the podding scene.
100.
You know, you got to see this is a nice set. Like your setup is sick. You know what I'm saying? Like people are gonna watch that and be like, oh, I want to start a podcast. This is a kind of setup that I would like, you know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing to watch and to take and be like, okay, yeah, I can see that. It's a professional, it's clean. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this thing, or how you structure your podcast or how long your podcasts are. Or it's good to watch people in your space so you can learn, be inspired. And as creators, entrepreneurs, that's what we need to do. So right now, staying inspired, staying having fun, releasing new music. I dropped Pathways a couple weeks ago, and that was a song that was deep to my heart because obviously I talk about like losing children, I talk about my homelessness, I talk about that kind of stuff. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying, it's so much more important that more people who have substance get this. And for me, it's not necessarily just about the fame, but it's like your whole life, there's people that are on this underground scene who are on the verge of suicide every day.
Word, yeah.
Or on the verge of harming themselves, on the verge of being in, you know what I'm saying? And at a certain age and at a certain point, it becomes very hard to be a creative and live in this current world that we're in because bills need paying.
What? Reality is reality.
And if you ain't getting no money from your passion, your desire and all of that stuff, as much as you say you love it, eventually you have to pick between your survival and your passion.
100, yeah.
And then that's where most people, you know, I've spoken to a lot of older people who they had dreams. They wanted to be singers. They wanted to be that. They wanted to be this. And they're just... They might have made a different life and whatnot. Shout out to them. But you can, when I talk to them about it, you can see, you know, so whilst we have that opportunity, it's like, I would like people to really understand that, you know, I have a clothing line. I do motivational speaking, DTJD. And the problem was with that, I had that before I even started rapping. And half of the people, as I said, I've had 3,500 followers. 10 people ain't bought a t-shirt. Yeah. That's painful. Yeah. Regardless of how people want to tell me, oh, people don't, oh, that's painful. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no excuse for it. Yeah. And in my community, especially, like, as a dark-skinned man, it's my turn to say, as my dark-skinned man, it's just a shame to see people say support black-owned businesses, but then there's people right next to you, right next door, and you ain't supported them once.
I hear it.
You see it? So that's what I'll say and leave with. I'm just trying to make sure that everything I do output-wise is, you know, I'm doing it for me, innit? And I'm
100.
doing it for the family. I'm doing it for things like this. But I can't accept people pretending as if, like, oh yeah, you just gotta try hard. Like, no, everyone's always gonna try harder. We're always gonna try to grow. We're always gonna try to get better. We're always gonna try to improve.
100, yeah.
That's what people like us are gonna do. But we need you guys to do your job too.
Word.
If you ain't pushing it, if you ain't supporting it, if you ain't helping it grow, then you're part of the problem to me, and that's how it's gonna stay. Because when it does come around, and Miriam has her next big superstar on this same couch, you lot are gonna be tuned in. You're gonna be there saying, "Miriam, oh, can I?" And she's a good woman, so she probably will let you come and watch from behind the scenes. But me personally, I'll be telling her, "Nah, bruv, don't let them come."
But you know what, guys? Also, this could be you. Do you understand? Like, I think we forget that we're all people trying to make a life for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And it takes people need people, whether it's physically, emotionally, financially, career-wise. We need each other, and we need that love and support to stay and stick and be continuous and be sincere and be loving and have that level of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's the world that we live in. And no matter how much we want to deny that or try and step away from what is actually naturally, innately within us, it will always be there. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so happy and glad that we actually got round to doing this. Obviously, debut in the new studio and everything.
You know the vibes. First ever. Yeah, who gonna do it better? Nobody.
All right.
Straight.
Every link, music, clothing, everything, Instagram, socials, all of his stuff is going to be in the description below. Please follow, show love, show support, check him out. Let him know how the music is doing. Let him know, like, we appreciate feedback. Let me know what you guys think about the space, who you want on, X, Y, and Z. And yeah, guys, appreciate you. I will definitely be having you back soon.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
You're
we
welcome.
Respect the space. We love in the space. We love in the new place as well. Yes. Everything nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Stilly. Conversation thing.
That's it. All right, guys. Peace and love. Bye, guys.
Wow.